And now, Coast to Coast RIA presents the Experts Corner with Pete Asmus. Now, get ready to go make something happen, because in this series, it's all about actionable information with different experts, strategies, and solutions from around the country. You won't be able to help but catapult your life into a new direction. So get ready, because we are about to begin.
And now from coast to coast,
That's right. Here I come. I'm just bumping into everything, man, it feels like. But welcome. Tonight, we are June 3rd. Well, we're not June 3rd. We are on June 3rd. Experts Corner every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Tonight, we have the power of SEO. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
The power of SEO with Justin Velthoen. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight is going to be kind of like, I guess, project management, right? Or I'm sorry, not productivity through project management and life management. And what does that really mean? We're building right now with Scott Travis. And if you guys missed last night's webinar, don't worry. As soon as I get that webinar from Scott, I will go ahead and put it up. But I don't have the recording yet, so I can't give it to you. But it was an awesome call. And what Scott's doing right now is building out a whole system for us for our wholesaling. And so we're going to really create. And Justin was with us a year ago, man, when we were looking at creating the wholesale network. And we're finally, I mean, like a year later, it's crazy, but we're finally at the point where we've got the right pieces that we can actually create this. And we've got the right people in different cities, like Boston and New Jersey and Maryland. So all across the United States, we've got stuff going on. If you guys are interested, all you have to do is email Scott at scott@c2c, the number 2. So C, the number 2, the letter C, REIA.com. That's Scott at c2cria.com, and ask him any dumb question that you want to, especially since he hasn't got me the podcast yet, right? You guys have to have burning questions, and I would. And if I would be asking Scott, when are you going to get Pete the thing so we can listen to it? That's the emails you guys should be sending him right now. In addition to that, though, tonight I wanted to bring Justin on, and you guys are kind of seeing that Justin's kind of a regular on Experts Corner. Plan on that kind of being the case. The reason is this is all about implementing and helping the entrepreneur, right? And most of us as an entrepreneur, we don't have 50 employees that are working for us. We don't have a department that does all of our marketing, and a department over here that does all of our graphic design, and one over here that does all our SEO and social marketing and all this stuff. And so what I've asked Justin to do is kind of break down certain aspects of things that we could do, right? He's also creating for us right now a video series, a video training series, which will be, it'll be under $200, and it'll be a whole video series that we're going to put together, and I'm going to do part of it, and he's going to do part of it. But it's really him designing this thing of how do you build your brand from within? If you want to do all the work, how do you do it right? So what does that really look like? What does that mean when we say that? Well, that means do your posts look right? There's a perfect optimized post, okay? The POP. We have that. Justin has this whole breakdown of what it looks like and everything else. We had one of those on one of the webinars, I think, that didn't get recorded with him. Now we're actually recording on mine. Everybody's getting recorded. I mean, we're not going to miss any more of these Experts Corners, especially with Justin, because it always ends up being an amazing time. And we always end up learning a lot of stuff. So what this whole video course is going to be teaching you is, how do you work on WordPress? How do you build your website? What kind of themes can you use? What are the themes for? How do they, what is a theme, right? What is a theme? A lot of you guys don't even know what I'm talking about when I say, what is a theme? So what are themes? How do you use Hootsuite? How do you use social media, LinkedIn, Facebook? What kind of things do we want to put on there? How do you really build your brand? Right? And that's what we really mean. How do you really build your brand? Because it's a lot more than just, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to be the sharks, and I'm going to draw this shark picture, and I'm going to say that I'm a shark, and now everybody's going to know who we are. And it's just not going to happen. You know, we've been putting out a ton of great content, and it wasn't until really I met Justin and he started altering the way that we were putting the information out there that it started gaining traction. Right? So you can have the best product in the world, but the problem is if nobody knows that you're there, you're not going to get anything, right? And then what's the difference between a website that sells products and then what type of website would you ever want that doesn't sell products? Would you even want a website that doesn't sell products? The answer to that is simple. There's one type that I know of that you don't sell products on, and that's what they call like a hero page or an icon page. And it's something that just talks about you. It's just getting information. It's almost like a media page, if you will, right? All the different things that you're doing. But besides that, if you're going to have a website, the whole point of that is to drive traffic somewhere, to do something, to convert some way to turn into money. And Justin is an expert at making that happen. He took one little post that he had somebody else write for $12, told him what he wanted them to write. He SEO'd it correctly, the right way. And because of that post, he became #1 on Google search. And because of that, he ended up landing another job at a consulting company that really changed the trajectory of where he was going. And that's important to understand. That's important to understand because I want you to know why I'm bringing Justin on. I want you to know why he's such a great person and why you need to listen to what he's saying. Because the reality is Justin's been doing this for a long time. He knows real estate, and more importantly, he knows the not numbers and not, it's funny because I always say that Scott does the physical and Ivan does the numbers, but I do the part that you can't see or touch or anything. And that's what Justin does. It's the SEO, it's the marketing, it's the idea factory, right? But also, how do you bring that in? How do you connect it all together? And that's what Justin is an expert at doing. He's got a degree, and he also has, what is that other thing that you're getting right now? The whole organizing thing. I always forget what that's called.
So I've got a BS in IT, an MBA, and I'm going for a PMP.
PMP. Yeah, I knew it was like something. PIP, POP, I don't know. Other people, I'm OPP. I don't know what the hell we're talking about. I think it's, you got with Ivan and you guys are making up initials again. You, Scott, and Ivan, you guys just like to make stuff up. But so I'm going to go ahead now and I want to turn this over to you. I want you to go ahead and grab onto this and let's start going. Guys, if you don't know who Justin is, go back to our first Experts Corner with Justin on it. Go to c2crea.com. And type in Justin Velthoen, spelled just like you see right there. Type that in and find the first Experts Corner that he was on. It explains who he is. You can also go onto our website and look when he was on the radio. And that one, the one in December, was a really great show that we did together. And I think it was on December 31st. It was like either January 1st, December 31st. It was like right there. You and I did a fantastic, it's one of the best shows that we have ratings on. I mean, it's one of the highest downloaded shows that we've had. So
nice.
I want you guys to, I don't want to waste tonight with explaining who you are. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of just wanted to wrap this up real quick, explain that to everybody. You guys can go ahead and look him up if you want. But besides that, let's go ahead and get into tonight, which is productivity, a passion in the science of, man, what did we say?
So being productive,
yes.
Doing project management, and life management, because it all kind of rolls into one. Because if you don't have anything in order, nothing's in order.
Right.
It's a house of cards. If you don't build it with a good foundation, the whole thing comes tumbling down. And if you can do something really good at work, but if you come home and it's not there, then it all intermingles. And I know, man, I was the worst. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to schedule stuff. I had a day timer and I lived by it. And then one day, when I was about 21, you know what happens when you're 21. I got into bars. I was working at a coffee shop. I was drinking espresso all day, every day, because I got free coffee. And I started out the day with like 4 to 6 shots of espresso. I ended it with another 4-shot mocha. Just like I was going all the time. And after work, I was, drinking like a fish. And I almost gave myself an ulcer. So the doctor said, take off the watch, get rid of the day timer, quit planning each second down to the second, because I was always running between things, and kind of freed up my life a little bit. And it was a big wake up call sitting in the emergency room. And so
you're saying that you were, it literally made you physically sick by being so stressed out from being so so active, or from being so unorganized that you were literally running in from one thing to another because you had no organization? Is that what you're saying?
It was chaotic. I thought I was organized, and I had the day timer. I had 4 jobs at the mall, and I was going to school full time. So I just constantly kept like all of my different outfits in the car, and I knew that I had to show up to someplace, and I just like go in and do I work here today?
Wow.
And I was a mess, but I was constantly running. Like I ran from about 8 or 9 in the morning because that's as late as my mom would let me sleep in. And then I'd sneak in about 5:30 in the morning because I knew that's when she was taking a shower, and so she wouldn't hear the alarm go, beep, 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 as I snuck in and keyed in the code. So I got like just a few hours of sleep every day, and I was just burning myself down.
Now, so why? So when that happened, what did that change inside of you? What did that make you start to realize?
It made me realize that I needed to take more accountability, that by squeezing as much out of life as I could, like just trying to pack all of it into one 24-hour period, I lost control of it. And I knew, that was a wake-up call that says you're not going to be able to, you can squeeze it into 24 hours, but you won't squeeze it into the rest of this week.
Okay. So you figured out that the way that you were going wasn't working, running in all directions. And so you started finding products and solutions to organization, right?
Yeah. And that's when I knew I had to change, and I started relaxing and taking things easy. I was still trying to find a way to make it all work. And when I read David Allen's Getting Things Done, that's when the light bulb went off. He said something that like it was just so impactful to me, is that a lot of times I can't go to sleep because I'm just running through so many ideas in my head. And this is when I was going through an MBA program. I had a lot going on there, a lot going on at work. I was changing jobs. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, was a flight attendant, so she was in another part of the state. So I was flying back and forth, and I had all these ideas. And he said that the mind can only hold 7 to 10 things at any one time, that we're keeping tabs on.
Right.
So when I go to bed, it's scrambling, going, oh crap, I gotta remember this. So it's just like flashing through all of these things, just bam, bam, bam. And he said, just write them down. When you write them down, your brain says, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore because it's in the system. And that's when everything took hold. That's when my life got easier. I just keep my phone by my bed. I had an app on it with all the tasks. I just add to it, and in the morning I'd know I'd go through it, and I'd know what I had to do.
Okay. Now, how would that help? How's that going to help a real estate investor or an entrepreneur?
Well, any entrepreneur or any real estate investor, anybody in business is going to have multiple deals going on at any one time, multiple projects, multiple conversations that are happening in their email. This is a David Allen thing, and it probably came out before him, was called Inbox Zero, where you want to clear out your inbox, because a lot of us use it as sort of our task list. So
oh my gosh, that's totally true.
Yeah, right? And that was me too.
I go in there and I'll star it, and I'm like, all right, I got to get back to that and remember to look at that one later.
Yeah, and then you go back and you're like, there's 2,000 stars. I'm like, holy.
Right. I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. Yep, totally.
Yeah,
then I can't find the emails, or they disappear on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and I'm pretty good at this, but I still notice, I fall back, and like I have a safety net, which isn't good. But and I'll show you that in a minute. But basically what it is you want to deal with everything as they come up. And even if you look at email twice a day, if you can, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, I'm sometimes a slave to email in a couple of situations because I come from a support background. So my email literally was my task list. But a lot of those things need to have some type of action taken on it, either a quick reply, which would take a few seconds, or I need to add this to my calendar, or I need to add this to my task list for this project to make sure that it gets done. But having it in your email swamped with 2,000 other items, and I'm using the term 2,000 because our old CFO used to do that. His email was his task list. He never put anything anywhere else, and when he got a new phone, it took literally hours for that all to sync up. It was absolutely incredible. So move your task list to an actual, program that's geared towards that, where you can say, okay, I'm not going to do this today. I'm going to do this tomorrow. And then make, little commitments to yourself. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to handle this, so I know that this is going to get done. I feel your mind will calm down, your body will relax, and you can deal with these things as they come up. So it's all about the systems that you have and putting them into there, and your brain knowing that, it's going to be all right because I know tomorrow I'm going to deal with this, and I am going to deal with this.
I love that, man. In fact, you just gave me an idea for the Thinking to Succeed project, which they're going to really love when I do this. But yeah, I love it, man. Your whole concept is that every day do something, something that you're moving towards, right? If you, like, for instance, we write our goals down every day, right? And every morning we write down our goals. But now what we could also do is start adding to that and maybe writing down 5 tasks or one, or maybe just one thing every day that you need to do, that, like, the one thing that you're avoiding. You know what I mean? There's like, probably everybody at any given moment has 10 to 15 things that they need to do but are putting off. You know what I mean? And
I never avoid anything, man.
Yeah, right. And sometimes those 10 things will stay on for like a year. You know what I mean? Or more.
And they only take 15 minutes.
What'd you say?
And some of those things take like 15 minutes, and they harbor and like eat away at you for a year.
Exactly. That is exactly my point. I mean, even down to, I knew, like, the slide in. You sent me that email. I still have to get back to that email and fix the slide in. Do you know what I mean? Which is going to take me, 5 minutes? But it's like, God, you're juggling 50 million things. And that's why I wanted you to go over this stuff today, because I think Podio, implementing that into my life to help with life management, I think that I'm probably one of the biggest people that needs this type of thing. And so I figured, I've heard a lot of people saying how, I think it was Joe McCall did a webinar on Podio and all the things that he did. And everybody was like, man, that was amazing. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta get Justin on. We can talk about Podio. I guess he was using it for wholesaling. So I know that or understand that concept and everything else. So I'm like, why don't we just do one on it and gear it towards what we're talking about? That way, the other things that he's referring to, and I don't know, I didn't listen to it. I literally didn't have the 3 hours that he spent doing it. So this was like my way of answering that, I guess. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. And Joe's the man, and I've been listening to him for a while too. Really great guy, has it on and all together. He's
absolutely. No, I wasn't saying anything bad at all.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, I dig Joe. He's awesome. So, and I've really enjoyed his podcast too. I wish my webcam was working, because I'd show you my my day planner, because this is, I think, one of the big things that made things work for me, and mainly because I'm working on multiple projects.
A physical day planner, you mean?
Yeah. I have a piece of paper by me all day long that says this is what I should be doing. So, and I have a couple. I have one that's a desk month journal, or one of those desk calendars.
Right.
It's a full month, and every day I have a call with my team, 8 a.m. And each of us has one goal. Like, what is the one thing that you're going to do today? What's your main focus? So we all have to declare what our main focus is that day at 8 o'clock. It's a 10-minute call. We don't go over 10 minutes. Well, I take it back. We did once the other day because we had a big release coming out, and I just really wanted to highlight the developer who had knocked that out. It was really cool. But by doing that, we're very clear on where we are, and then we have a week goal. So and it's usually in one department or another, but then we all know what it is, and we're all working towards that. Yeah. And then between me and my boss, we have a monthly goal and a quarterly goal and a yearly goal. So when you break those out, the daily stuff is easy. The hard part usually is sitting around and you're like, oh, I just finished that. What do I do next? And you look over and there's this mountain. You're like, oh, crap.
Right. And what's more important to do, right? And then it becomes this, I'm going to sit here and think about what order I should do things in, and you end up wasting time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this isn't just for your day management, project management. I want to share this personal story, but Chelsea and I, when we got married, I came from a family that's, a number of divorces. So they asked us to go see a relationship coach, and I jumped on that. I was like, absolutely. I have coaches for other things in my life, and I honestly don't know how to have a relationship. So I was thrilled. So we went over there. We each did our goals and our mission statement and our vision statement. So we knew what each of us wanted, and they excused us to lunch and said, okay, now you have to merge those together and figure out your couple, like your family vision, your family mission, like what you're going to be doing. So
that is awesome, man. That
Yeah.
really is. And I mean, you obviously know we're huge proponents of goals. I mean, we have the 21-day goal program at c2crea.com/21-day challenge. So, and I would definitely invite all of you guys to go and check that out, because what Justin is saying is more right than you could ever know. If you get up every morning and write your goals down for 5 minutes, just write your goals down. What do you want out of life, right? And we have a whole breakdown on how to do that. That's why I'm saying, if you just go to go make something happen. If you go to c2crea.com/21-day challenge, the moment you enter your information, we'll send you an email and it explains everything. But it's important because, look, out of sight, out of mind, right? Justin is telling you exactly what he's saying. That was cute. Telling you exactly what he's saying. 7 to 10 things is what the brain can think about, right? So the reality is, all the other things that you're not thinking about, you're not going to be doing anything towards. So if those are things that are going to be important, when you write them down, if you have that piece of paper, like we say, write down your goals, you get it in a binder, a book. Like, for instance, mine looks like this. And I know that only some of you guys are going to be able to see this if you're actually on the call right now. But let's see here. Like, so right there is my goals, right? And it's in a book like this that's very cool. And then I flip it over, and on this side, I have all my chicken scratch, and I have lists of things that I can do. So one side is the goals, the other side are my tasks, and obviously, right, I can write on. I mean, that's, you flip the book over, and you got two sides. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, I 100% agree. You've gotta have that written down. And so what you're saying then, real quick, just to recap so far, is you have a call every morning for like 5 or 10 minutes with your team, talking about what's going to happen over the day, right?
Yeah.
And you write down your goals every day.
Yeah, well, I write it down and make sure that we all know what they are, and we all know what everybody else is doing. So there's not a lot of question.
Now, is that important, knowing what other people are doing?
I think so. I mean, it works great so that because my marketing team knows what we're developing, so they know what they need to start marketing towards.
That's a very good
my
point.
developers know, from a sales standpoint, the sales that we're looking at, and so they know, okay, these are what the new customers are looking for, so they know what to develop towards. So it's an ecosystem, man. If we started out and each of us were what we call in our own silos, and I was trying to bring everybody up to speed all day, and I was, each of those people I was on a phone call for an hour, and that's 4 hours that I wasn't selling.
Man, that is such a good point. And
5-minute phone call, and we're all on the same page.
And do you think, what about if somebody's a CPA or something? I love it when people go, well, I don't sell, Justin. I don't sell for a living. I'm not.
Well, that's why I was doing that personal story. So the thing that's great is once you set those goals, the other stuff goes away. Because I give the example of when I was looking for the new position, I was changing jobs. I was looking at a few different possibilities, and when I was having trouble, and my wife, we sat down and said, okay, so what fits in our vision? What fits in our mission plan? And so we looked at it and was like, oh, well, only one fits in the mission. Well, then there's no choice. There's no hemming and hawing. There's no difficulty. It's that one. So it makes every decision thereafter so much easier because you can say no.
I love it, man. I think that's brilliant. And do you know who David Fagan is?
I've heard that name, but no, I'm not thinking.
Okay, so he's a big PR guy out of Beverly Hills. We went to his event this weekend, Icon Boot Camp, and it was amazing. All the stuff that we do, right, is something that he's big on. I mean, it's all about, it's so weird. I never thought that PR people are into SEO and are into video, and how, like, for instance, let me tell you, this is something that I got so much value out of. You know how we've been doing videos all year, like year and a half or whatever now, right?
Yeah.
He talked about when you're building your brand, right? there's a great video that we're going to start making they're like 90 seconds. I mean, they're really short, and this is how they go. And it's so weird because as I was talking to John Shear, who is the video professor. Remember those? The video professors? Do you want to know how to use Excel or Word?
Oh my, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
All right, yeah.
Right? The video professor.
Those are so fun.
He was there. And think about this, as I tell you what they were showing us how to do, think about every infomercial, commercial, anything that you watch, right? And this is what it was. You ask 2 to 3 questions, state your name, not hi, nothing like that, state your name, and then solve the problem and a call to action, right? So something like, are you tired of not getting seen? Are you worried that all the content that you build, nobody's ever going to find? Hi, or not hi. Golly. See, okay. Are you worried about not being found? Are you worried that all the content that you build isn't ever going to be seen? I'm Pete Asmus, CEO of Coast to Coast RIA, and I'd love to share with you this important thing that Justin Velthoen and Coast to Coast RIA are putting together. We're going to show you exactly how to overcome all of the obstacles that you have, from how do you get found? What is SEO, right? And I could list a few things and then go, so make sure that you go to c2cria.com/SEO training right now and get invested, whatever. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's crazy though, because I never thought of the question, name, content, or, question, name, solve the problem, give them a call to action. And if you think about any marketing piece, that's exactly what they do. The first thing is, so many people want to say, hi, I'm Pete Asmus. Hi, I'm this, right? Nobody cares who you are. Nobody cares who you are until they know that there's a reason for them to care, which means you've got to find out from them, like show them what you're going to do for them, right? So that's why you come out with the question of, are you ever worried about being found? Somebody's going to go, man, yes. Oh my God, Question number 2. Yes, I'm worried about that too. Well, I'm Pete Asmus, visionary pitbull and co-founder of Coast to Coast RIA. And they're like, oh, okay, I've heard of that. Right now you're doing, like John Shear was like, have you ever seen this or that? And then he's like, I'm John Shear, former CEO and founder of Video Professor and of this amazing new product, right? So what he did was he asked you the questions to get you to think, told you who he was and built value in his name, and then boom, came right out of the gate and told you how he was going to solve your problem. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys right now is because that's what Justin is really doing, right? It's so weird because we utilize the words that we're saying and the concepts that we're using are a lot of times geared towards real estate. And we think, oh, well, that's the only way it works. And that's why I want to show you guys that the things we're showing you are being used in every field, in everything. And so this is something you want to be good at. This is something that you want to become an expert at. Understanding how to brand yourself, but not only that, how to put it out there. The other thing that David talked a lot about was the websites. And you guys, if you don't have a website that is telling people who you are, you need to create one. You need to have that not vision, God, it's being seen, not you seeing.
Visibility.
Visibility. And that's one of the things that Justin does, right? You can go to c2cria.com. I think it's Toucan, right? Toucan. Yep. And you can enter in your information. And if you don't have a site, talk to Justin about building one for you, because I know were you still running that special?
Yeah, for anybody that comes in through Pete, we're doing a $797 instead of $997, so you get $200 off.
And that gets you a website that's fully functional, right? And again, we're not saying that you have to do that. I just want you to be aware these are the things that are important, right?
Yeah, and that's not just a website. Like, I work with somebody to make sure that they get everything that they need, that they don't just have a website that's up, because man, there's so many people that have a website that's just up. I work with them and spend time to make sure that they know how to use it to its best ability, and it's already geared up. So just as soon as they start creating that stuff, it's like a steamroller.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, so David was talking about the fact that you want to control Google because you want to be found. So many times, do you ever meet anybody, right? Let's say you meet somebody on the plane and you don't have a business card. Well, how awesome would it be for me? I can always say, look, just Google Pete Asmus. People, I don't have your number. Just Google my name. You don't need my number. Google my name. Trust me, you will find my phone number. It is on LinkedIn. It's on this. It's on that. I mean, I have it everywhere. Google my name. You'll find my email address. It's everywhere. So you guys want to become an icon in your industry, as David puts it. You want to become an expert in your industry, as we're putting it, right? You've got to have people have to be able to find you. Not only that, but you can't make it difficult for them to find you and then make it even more difficult to figure out who the hell you are, right? The last thing you want them doing is showing up to a website that's all blacked out and just says your name. It's like, all right, so
and I've seen those.
I don't understand. Like, what the hell is this, right? It's like, you know, Scott Travis, and then just a black screen, and then there's like one post, and it's okay. What? I don't get it. I don't know who you are still, and now you're driving traffic right to you, and nobody knows who you are. So make sure that what you're doing is consistent, and that's what this whole program is about. That's everything that Justin and I are really focused on helping you guys do, is build your brand, is become who you want to be. So I'm going to let you go again, Justin. I'm sorry. I got all sidetracked, but I got some stuff to answer here real quick. So I'm going to let you talk now.
Sure. No worries. Yeah. And I would even challenge you on the hero page. You don't have to sell on, because if you have a hero page and you're not selling on it, I don't know what to do with you. Like, everybody is selling something, even if it's you as your own personal brand.
There you go.
That's how I got my new position, is because I started doing things the right way and getting myself out there. And the difference in my income before and after was huge, because I stopped focusing, and now I'm managing, working with people and in the hiring position, and it blows my mind how these people are coming to me. They're upset that they don't have jobs, and they're just assuming I'm going to give them a job. And one of the big things is, when you start learning how to do some of this stuff, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're in the business, you start realize that it's not an hourly thing. My benefit is a value proposition. And I haven't met one person that's come into an interview yet that says, here's what I do, and here's how this pertains to you, and this is where you're going to be next year if you hire me.
Right.
I would jump on hiring that person.
And so, why is that? What specifically about that makes you drawn to them? Because I think a lot of times, we maybe sometimes we answer a question and people are like, okay, but they don't understand the psychology behind why we arrive there. They don't understand how we arrive there. Well, does that make sense?
It's like when we're starting out, we don't have a huge budget. So we're thinking about, okay, what's free?
Right.
What has the free sign up? Like, what can I do for free? Because I don't have a budget. But the problem is that ramp is shallow. And so I work with a company that, we have a very decent marketing budget. So when we start talking about stuff, I hired a marketing person, and she wanted to write all the articles. I said, I'll show you how to get the amazing results, like $500 results off of a $12 article. And I don't want you to write it. If you're writing that article, you're not doing something that's really valuable to me. So, and it's thinking in terms of value. And, so many of us are programmed to think, I got to save that $12. And it's like, well, I'm paying you $25 an hour. It's like,
right.
I don't care about the $12. Just don't. If you spend 4 hours on something, that just cost me $100, and I could have paid 12.
And yeah, exactly. And why? See, here's what you guys don't understand too. All of you that are listening right now on the podcast live, that's important, because what Justin is telling you is that you don't even have to. Even you guys don't have to write everything. You don't have to do all the work, right? That's the whole concept behind Fiverr.com and the what is it? Odesk. And then I met a guy this weekend who started a company called his name's Richard Fox, and it was, oh man, it's a VA company though. It's People International, I think is what it's called. And if you go on and look at last week's show on Friday, he was on it, right? And you can see his information to follow up with him. But the reason that he is here in the United States, right? And I'm going to tell a quick story about this and why I think this is crazy. But he does all of his stuff is in the Philippines, except he has a presence in the United States. The reason that it's important that he has a presence in the United States means that he has to abide by U.S. law. All right. And why that's important is, if you remember a few years ago when Nike was doing business, or Apple was doing business, I think it was Apple, was doing business with somebody overseas, and they were having like child labor build these parts. and Apple got a fine and a couple other things, and it was like, wait, what? Apple wasn't even the one that was doing it, but it didn't matter because they contracted with them. So having a U.S. presence is kind of a big deal, and can actually save you in some certain circumstances. You probably aren't going to be sued like Apple would be, because we're talking about VAs, and they're probably not going to have 3-year-olds, calling your people. But it's just important to understand that there are options out there, and what you can do to utilize those. It doesn't need to be you. If you're a CEO, you're not as Richard said, you're not a God, what is it? Catch all for everything. Constantly everything. I don't know. Is CEO, but he was everything instead of chief everything officer instead of chief executive officer, right? And so that's kind of what Justin is saying, what he was saying, right? Is the fact that you need to be able to pull off. You don't have to do all the work. Get other people that can do that work as well.
Yeah. So here's a couple tools that I use just to empty the stuff out of my head. And I'm going to start out with this one, Asana. It's kind of the famous one out there right now because it's very pretty. They've won all kinds of design awards. It's super fast. There's a lot of different people that are using this, and it's so fast. It's really great for even just taking notes. So we can go in here. I'm actually going to show you what we use it for. So my wife and I, we both have the login for it. So I've shared this particular workspace with her. So this is our relationship, our family workspace. And I'm saying family. We don't have much of a family yet. It's just the two of us. But still, this allows us to go in and say, have a grocery list. So we don't have a lot of groceries right now, but we could separate it out by the different places and what we're getting at each place, and then we can actually assign these. So I can assign this to Chelsea, so she can know that she needs to get more scotch at Trader Joe's because my family's coming into town. So we can do all kinds of things like this, and we can write a comment. And we can tag each other and stuff. You can set up due dates so that okay, I need to get this by this date. So there's all kinds of really cool things that you can do with this. Again, this is free, so you can dive into it. One of the things I'm probably going to start working on is setting up a workspace for each of the people I work with and coach, so that I can just flip into theirs and see. You can see here that I have an inbox that'll tell me what happened. So I can go through here see what Chelsea was doing and what happened, and I can keep tabs on everything that happened. And if I see it and said, nope, she didn't get relished, I can uncheck it and it'll go back onto the live one. So it has a lot of power, and you can do a lot of things with it.
And so, what is this? This is a task manager?
They call it a project manager. I would contend and say it's more of a task manager. It is a place where you can, really manage a workspace on things that you're doing, but it's really easy. So let's say we want to add a new task. So I'm going to add one. I'm going to call this one Pete's area. So if I hit a colon, you'll see it makes a group, and I hit enter and it makes a new task. So say we were talking about our slide in. So get the slide in done. So, and then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go ahead and set a due date. I want you to do that by tomorrow. And I can.
Now this is awesome. Okay, so let's say that for Scott's purposes, real quick, right? Let's say that in Boston, we've got California, we've got New Jersey.
For that one, I'm going to show you another one because I've already set up Podio to do that.
Oh, got it.
We
Okay,
were first
never mind
talking
then.
about. So that's already built.
What is this going to be utilized for? Where would this be just our personal life? Is that where we're implementing this?
Well, I'm going to show you a bunch of different flavors so that people can choose what's right for them.
Got it.
I mean, I don't want to say this is the one to use because there's so many different things, and it's really a personal preference. I would say try a couple out, see what you like. I like this for list type applications. Some people like it for other things. You can have sub items here and go through, and you can check these off as you go through and do them, and then check off the parent and disappear. So you can do a lot of stuff. It's very flexible. You can do attachments. You can like things, things that you're pretty familiar with. You can tag them for certain things so that you can search for all the things that are said website, or you can tag everything that's c2c.com, things like that. So you can have a very clear picture, do searches that'll bring up everything related to it. So it's very powerful. I really like that you can switch between workspaces, because for me, I have my, the Toucan websites and some stuff in real estate, and I can flip back and forth between my home. So Chelsea doesn't get bogged down with all the extra stuff that I'm doing, and conversely, like I don't have her accidentally adding stuff to my website one when she meant to add it to the groceries one that we share.
Right.
So things that we've come across. The other one that's really popular for that is rememberthemilk.com, and this started out as just somebody just wanted to remember, just a grocery list. And then it turned out to everybody's like, that's exactly what I wanted. And so they have different lists and things. But this is what really did it, where I was able to, right before I went to bed, all those thoughts going through my head, boom, just I'd pull up Remember the Milk. I'd just start tagging things down and just adding them and getting them set, so that when I woke up, I knew I had it. So I had an inbox with all the things that I wanted to do right then. I could tag it with who needed to do it. You have a lot of different flexibility over here. Let's see. So you can add links to something if you want to go check out a website. So it was all out of my head and into a system, and that's the main point. So it doesn't matter what system you use, just find one that works for you.
I got you.
So Asana is a really popular one. It works great. Remember the Milk, we actually moved away from because I didn't really like the web interface. I mean, it's been out here for 5 years and they haven't really done anything with it.
Okay, what about do any of these sync with our phones? Like, what about if...
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have one that I couldn't do from the phone.
Okay, so all of these have apps that work on our phone as well to update us and all that stuff, and like send us notifications and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this one, teamworkpm.net, and it's .net, but this has a lot of things that are really awesome. It's a free up to a couple of projects, so you can have a couple things going on. And so if you go into, let's say, my Toucan websites and go into tasks, it's really great because I can break things out into standard stuff. So I can have a task list, and if I go into my settings and go into templates, I can set up a template. So every time I do, let's say, a website, when I do a launch, here's all the tasks that I do. I mean, every time I do that, these are the things that I'm going to go through.
That would be awesome for the national wholesale, right? Because people want to bring us deals. So this is something where we can hand them and go, look, you have to have all of these things checked off before you submit a deal to us, right?
Well, I'll get to that in Podio.
Sorry.
That's where I do that. But yeah, so I can say, okay, these are all the sizes for all of my stuff. So I can link my graphic designer, share all of these with him, and he can just go through and knock them all out. So, but yeah, exactly what you're saying. You can share this. I can share a project with a group of people.
Go back up there real quick. Okay, so here's another thing that we were talking about, right? We talked about how, nope, go back. Where were you? Wait. Up. So where did the thing go with the business cards? It had business cards, the size of the business cards.
Here, my graphic designer.
Yeah, okay, so look, the graphic designer. A lot of you guys are going to come up with a logo. You're going to come up with something for your brand, right? And then you're going to go, all right, well, now I've got my logo. I'm good. And this is awesome, man. I definitely want to screenshot that, man. In fact, I'm going to right now.
This is proprietary. No.
So I already got it. So the reason is because, when you look at the website logo is 400 pixels by 75. The website banner is 1,000 by 333. Twitter is 256 by 256. Twitter header is different, right? 1252. You don't have Google Plus on here. Google Plus is different than Facebook. I mean, all of these banners are all different sizes, and to know the right size and to create the document or the logo to look like it in the right size is crucial, because when you make it too small and then you blow it up, it doesn't look right. It looks all pixelated. And when you create it to be big and then you make it really small, it's hard to read because it's not the right format. And so I think that this is huge, that you know what you need for when you need it.
And then to go back to a more, a general everybody type thing is, how many times have you done something that's like a logo and you say, okay, here, I need this. And the guy gives you like that one deliverable and you're like, no, I wanted all of this. When I say this, I mean all of this.
Right.
And you have to be able to make sure that you convey that and they know what that is. And that could be anything. That could be, hey, I wanted bread. And, but when I say bread, I really mean, this kind of bread and, get the peanut butter and the jelly that I like and get the, and that's being really generic. But you can go back to even a deal. Like if you have a deal in the works and you add a task list to it, what do you need? You need to get the electricity on. You need to get the plumbing on. You need to make sure everybody gets paid along the way. You need to make sure that you have any permits pulled. You have to, there's a ton of things for any project that will always be pretty similar. So you can make that checkoff list. And then each of these has a little space where I can create a note. I can assign it to somebody. I can tie it into somebody. I can go and leave a description.
Crap.
I can set a priority. This one is really high, so I want it done first. I can make it dependent on something. So I can go back and say, this Twitter background is dependent on the logo. So as soon as that logo is done, bam, it says, hey, you have to do the Twitter background now.
Man, that is so cool.
And
see,
this
that's
is what
I'm talking about. That's learning the system. That's creating systems that are literally flow through systems. And maybe this is, again, something that we use for the Thinking to Succeed project, too, to push people through each phase that they're in.
And then here's the other thing, too, is we all need this, and the excuse I usually get is I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to play in this. And I was like, you know what? This saves me so much time and so much headache. I don't have to think about it because it's there.
Right. You just have to create it the first time. It's like we say to everybody, you want to do what's the shortcut? The shortcut, honestly, is doing it right. It's doing it right. It's taking the time to do it right the first time.
Yeah. So this one's great, and this is what I work. I mean, this is just my the website one, but this is what I use for my big projects and with the company I'm with. This is how I manage my marketing team and my development team. This is how we plan out our development projects. We have Scrum, so we know what these things go in this version. In the next version, we're building out this, and all of that. Each implementation that we do, we have a task list that's I think it's about 100 tasks long with all the different stuff in it. And so we just, boom, we get a customer, bam, I know exactly what I need to do, and we're rolling right out of the gate. So we have partners that we're working with, and we actually just closed a few deals that everybody wants to go live July 1st. I don't know what's fancy about July 1st, but everybody wants to go live July 1st. And we just said, all right, if your other team can get stuff together, we'll get everything here in line. And I just sent them a screenshot, and they went, whoa. So we'll have all this done if you can get your side handled.
Man, so, see, that is awesome.
So, and then here's another thing. I'm guilty of this too, so I know other people that are listening have done this. Is who's ever bought a course before? I learned how to do this thing. Well, if you buy a course, like how to submit a video to YouTube, how to do, set up a WordPress website, when you do that, you put it in here as a template, and guess what? It's automated. You don't have to remember. You don't have to take awesome notes. You take the notes once in the order that they have to go in, and you just repeat. Just rinse and repeat every single time.
I love it.
So if you spend $1,000 on courses, you can have a really kicking launch list for everything that you do.
Now,
so that's really powerful.
A launch list. So what is that? Expert Roundup, Beastly Resources. What are you using that for? That's what you kick it out to, or what is that? What do you mean?
So, so a launch would be, for a website, if you're going to launch, here's the things that you should do. And this is more, at this point, this would be for like a really high paying customers, like to do a launch. And, there's a lot of communication, a lot of things, a lot of work that goes into that.
Got it.
But any of these things. If you build a logo and if you're working with logos and you have multiple businesses, just to know that every time I do a logo, boom, these are all the things that I need. Like, don't send me a logo. That does me no good. I'm unless you've formatted all this other stuff, your logo is useless to me. So that's just the way I have it set up. And
I got
you can do the logo, and I'll pay you X for it, and I'll pay you another 25% to get the rest of it, because it only takes the guy an extra half an hour to knock these other ones out and resize it.
Man, that's so cool.
And so I'll pay a little bit of a premium to get all of that work done, so that my customers get amazing service. Like, I want to make sure that when they go live, that they've got everything that they need. Install and configure WordPress. Like, we just go through, boom, boom. Here's all the things I want to do. Here's where I want to have that handled. The Google accounts, that's actually getting more and more of a big deal. The YouTube's accounts, all this stuff. So we put it all together. You can switch projects. So I have, the 2 websites that are on here right now, and I can switch between, the different workspaces, the different companies I work for. So with Coast to Coast RIA, we have a bunch of stuff over there, and I can quickly switch back and forth into that workspace and see what's going on over there. So from one place, I can hop around to all the different places and keep tabs. And that's really important to me, to be able to have one overarching place. Man, so cool. I think on this one, just because I've been focusing more on the MSA and the consulting. Let me see, where's the subscription? So just so you guys see what this one goes for, it's free for 2 projects, and that's why I dropped it down to the 2 that I have out there. It's secure, has a bunch of stuff with it. As you pay more, you get Google Drive integration, Box.com, Dropbox, and you can have a custom domain. I don't really need a custom domain, but being able to attach to Google Drive is pretty cool. Yeah. And yeah. And here's the other thing too: is if you're not using Evernote, I don't know what to do for you. Yeah, Evernote's amazing. So, and you can brand everything. So I can have my logo when I save it to my iPhone. Like, this is what it'll look like. My shortcut up here.
Wait a second, right I don't have that. I have I have the guy that looks like a elephant, but I don't have that. Well, I have what is it called? IClipboard. Is that different?
IClipboard.
Mm-hmm. It's made by Evernote.
Really? Okay.
I'll have to look that up, but maybe I need to get another version of Evernote too, or something.
Dude, Evernote's amazing, and just the ability to. So here's another thing that I like. Chrome is pretty cool, but there's this. What is it? It's not the Moz bar. There's somewhere in here. Hang on. Anyway, there's this extension that does this, where what's your main focus for today? Project planning. So every time I open up a new tab, it says, hey, remember your project planning list. And you can have a to-do list here, like call Pete, webinar at 6 p.m. So you have these things, and you can cross them off, and you can see today, how many to-dos have you completed? This is awesome. If you don't have a lot going on, this is fantastic. Just to remind you, every time you open up a new tab, you're going to Facebook, and you're like, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to do project planning today. Maybe let me do the project planning, and then I'll do the Facebook. So anyway, a cool tool there. Oh man, I forgot what I was going to show you. Oh, just pull up anything. So let's say Mashable.com. Any type of news article. This is where I was hitting it, getting really frustrated, was I'd see a bunch of stuff. You can see here I have a bunch of tabs open of stuff. That's a to-do list. That's a to-do list that I left for myself, which sucks. And that means that I'm not getting on top of it. But when it was an article that I wanted to read, I could either send it to Pocket, which is cool. This is a program that will kind of take the content and put it into an app. So whenever I'm waiting for somebody, I was just at the taco shop grabbing some dinner, and I pulled up Pocket and was going to read through those articles that I didn't have time to read during the day. So I don't have to worry about it. I'm not stressed about it. It's not a tab that's open, and I'm able to do that. If it's something that's really cool, I can just clip it to Evernote. And what it'll do is it'll reformat this and say, okay, I don't know if you can see, but it grayed out everything else, and it's keeping the main part, the main text, and it's telling me where it's sending the information to. So it's going to my website notebook. So
That is so
go to
cool.
simplified article, and it'll like clear it down even more. So Evernote's sick.
Are you
Like,
guys?
if you don't have Evernote,
Hold on, real quick,
you're wasting
guys.
your time.
If you guys are interested in Evernote or anything, you can go there. They actually have a free version of Evernote as well that holds up to 60 megabytes. I don't think that that's very much, but if you have any questions, also go ahead and ask them. I know Michael, you're on here, and Nisha, you're on here. So I just wanted to let you guys know, if you do have questions, you can either type them in or raise your hand. We can see both, and we can answer anything for you as well. All right. Okay,
Cool.
keep going.
All right. So Podio is the one that we've been talking about off and on, like, and keep bringing up, because this has a lot of really cool things on here. I'm going to go into the Coast to Coast workspace. I thought I had that in here somewhere. So I wonder where that went. I wonder if it's a different login. So let's go through residential investing. So we set up a bunch of stuff so that we've kind of, it's great because this is like totally linked together. You build your own application. So let's say I wanted a CRM app. I can say, you know what, I'm going to create a workspace. We're going to call it Toucan CRM, right?
Right.
I'm going to one click set it up. Sounds good. Okay, got it. I'm going to set it to this one. Okay, so if I go into it, where'd it go?
Okay, did you just make a workspace? Is that what you did?
Yeah. So 40.
How did you do that again, real quick?
So over here in the side,
Residential. Okay. Down there in the bottom.
Yeah, create a workspace.
Got it.
You can create a new area. This is really powerful. So here we're I think I can actually show you this because I don't think we've published this job posting yet. But
so anybody looking to be an MSA lead management,
I think here, let me do Podio over here. I'll show you what we're doing for work. So I've actually made a thing that I can post in job positions and create a form on the web with like a click that people can submit not only their information but also attach a resume to that comes in and marks a task so that somebody has to take a look and call them, and it goes into a workflow. And so we just have this new position that's coming up. So we're putting this one out there, say employment. This is really amazing because there's all these apps that you can do. You just go on here and say, go to the app market, and a bunch of things that are pre-configured. So let's say some of you guys might be interested in real estate. So if we click over here into real estate, there's a bunch of stuff already pre-configured. The ultimate real estate solution, a brokerage, property management. So what do these things do? These are independent applications that you can tie in together, and these are groups of applications. So we do real estate all in one. Let's take a look at that.
What?
So yeah, so it has listing closings, the listings, leads and clients, and buy closing. So you can already tie all this stuff together, determine what kind of information you need to bring in, how you need to tie it together, and somebody's probably made something like that. I made something that I want to get out there for you guys because there's a lot of really cool things. We go back to this real estate investing, and what we did here is we said, okay, when we're doing this, we have buyers, we have lenders, we have sellers, and we have interns. So from the interns, I can go in here, have a bunch of information added to them. Sorry, Podio slow today. And you know, Podio got bought by Citrix, who does GoToMeeting. So now they're integrated.
Oh my gosh, get out.
Yeah, so you can set it up so it creates a GoToMeeting for like for that intern or somebody coming on, that they can go in and set up a GoToMeeting so it automatically creates an interview.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
So this is like painfully slow right now. So I can say, here's the intern's name, their email address, the time commitment that they've committed to, what skills that they have, any if other, what is your why. So we know when we talk to this person, we bring this person up, if their why is like, hey, my mom's having trouble, I need to take care of her, we're going to talk to that person way differently than we talk to the guy like, I just want to be number one, right? Because those are two different personalities. They're two different reasons that they're doing. You can add notes to it, add files, like add pictures to it, and you can tag them with different things. So we can add those people in. The same thing with buyers and sellers and lenders. And I set up one I was doing some commercial stuff and set up one up for somebody who what we did is we had all of these things, and check this out. So we have all of these different things that are coming in that there's pertinent information. I need to know the best, the baths, the square feet.
I have this on my phone, so I could be at the person's address and I could be entering all this information in.
Oh yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and then check this out. So I'm going to go in here to the gear, and I'm going to say web form. Right? So
integration, share app. What the hell is all this? You're driving me nuts now. Now I'm going to go crazy on Podio.
So now I have an embed code. You have to say that these are the domains I'm allowing you to publish this on, so that so nobody steals it from you. And then it looks like this, and you just put it on your website. They get down to the bottom, hit submit, and it ties it in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we could put this on C2C RIA then for all of our people, and just create a back-end page that is like c2cria.com/ like my property or something, right? Or I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like create a page, and then we could sit there and insert that code in there. So all of our wholesalers or bird dogs across the country, they could go on and just input that, connect or attach the files and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. So here at the end of this job posting, I put in this form, and I apologize, the neighbors are taking out the garbage, so the dogs are going crazy. But I have this form so they can fill out their information, put a picture on, do a resume, and hit submit. And as soon as they do, it shows up in Podio. And you can set it. And this is the cool thing, is you can configure it. So when I publish this online, let's say I don't want to show the ARV, and I don't want to show the rehab or owner financing, because maybe I don't want the homeowner to think that I'm doing this. I'm calculating this out. I just want the basic information. I don't want them to think about me reselling it. I just want them to think about me buying it. So I can uncheck these things, but I'm still going to track it. So I can open it back up in Podio, and I can add these values to this user later.
Oh, wow.
So it's
okay.
Super powerful, super powerful. And you can go into spam protection, enable
and
CAPTCHA.
You could do. Wait, what?
So you can put a CAPTCHA on it.
Spam protection. Holy crap. Now, can we also put our logo on this thing too?
Well, this is embedded on your web page, so your logo is going to be all over the place.
Wow.
So
okay, and this
powerful.
can this connect to Instagram? Can this connect to Infusionsoft?
I'm glad you asked that. I almost feel like I should have set you up for that, and so I'm stoked you said that. So this is a free thing, and you can see it's super powerful. Let me actually just show you this real quick before we get into that. I'm going to leave this page, and I'm going to show you that we can edit it. I can drag things around. I mean, you can, as you're going it, I'm going to modify this template. So I can say, you know what, here's the values of what I'm getting. You know what, here's the other thing. I'm going to pull in this relationship, and I'm going to pull it into, I'm going to relate it to the sellers, right? Or the interns. Let's say all the deals are coming through interns. So I'm going to link it to an intern, so that as they're filling it out, they're going to pull up an intern and say, which intern did this deal come in through?
Oh my God, hold on. So that means I could, okay, so wait up. Could I sync this then with the 21-day challenge so that I could find out and go, but then they would have to come in and they would have to enter their information in Podio for me to be able to make them an option on that, right?
Yeah, it might be interesting. So I'm going to show you two different ways. So One thing you can do is if you're looking to make a form that just pulls in information and sends you a link, Wufoo is one of the more popular ones. I believe it does have Infusionsoft integration and MailChimp and some things like that. But no matter what you do, you have Zapier. And Zapier will go through and you just go in and say, I want to make a Zap. And a Zap is when I do something over here, I want you to do something over here. So when this happens, do this. So my trigger app, let's see, Podio, right?
Yep.
When I get a lead in Podio, choose a trigger, a new item, and you know, I don't have it linked up yet, but do this. I'm going to go into Infusionsoft, and I'm going to create a contact.
Wait,
So
what?
every time somebody fills a form in Podio, it's going to create a contact in Infusionsoft. If I have, you know, all the APIs set up and all that, but just signing into them. So it automates all this. And you can see Infusionsoft is a premium one, so I got to pay for that. But it's like $9 a month. It's ridiculously cheap for what you're getting. And if you're paying $300 a month for Infusionsoft, then
Yeah.
$9 is nothing. But yeah, so this is the business version of if this then that. And
I was
what
just
this
going to say,
does-
I have if this then that. This sounds just like that.
Yeah, they just took it and said, okay, you if this then that, that's perfect for the home user that just like they want their Instagram photo to publish to Facebook or to something else, or every time I publish to Instagram, I want it to save to my Dropbox folder. Right? It's a small, simple thing, but it makes a huge difference and saved me a bunch of time. Zapier
Man.
takes it to another level. So there's stuff on here like Eventbrite. So you can go in here and pull this up. There's so many things that they integrate with. Like, look at this. Seriously, look at all of this stuff. I mean, this is ridiculous.
YouTube,
how
how
many
would
things you
you-
can tie to.
How would you even? I don't get that. How would you go to YouTube?
Go to YouTube. Let's say you uploaded a video to Instagram and you want to automatically publish it to YouTube.
Stop it, bro. You're telling me that this is going to allow me to when I actually put my video up on YouTube, I could upload my video to YouTube and it would take it and it would put it up on Facebook. It would take it and put it up on the website and everything by using this?
Magically.
Okay, so I got to get that done then because that's crazy. That would wipe out probably an hour of my day by being able to do that in one fell swoop. Just upload it to YouTube and I don't have to worry about it. It kicks it out to everything else. I didn't know that they had something that did that.
Yeah. So this will do a lot of stuff, but I just want to show you, like, you
What's
choose
here?
one of these
What are
that's kind of a small free program to get you up to speed. And Teamwork PM is something that's, I mean, that'll take you a long way. Asana will probably take you a long way too. It's mainly for, you know, I wouldn't. It's a great program. I don't use it a lot except for kind of like a task list because there's not enough visibility for me. With Podio, like if you go back to the main screen, if I go into where's my websites projects, so you can see I was making a bunch of stuff and tweaking with things. So I have a Facebook feed of all the stuff that's going on. So I can see my website requests. Jake did one. Sean did one. So I can see what's going on. Now I'm the only person doing this, but if you had a small team of people and you could go in here and say, you know what, comment like, dude, way to go. And you can tag people. You can, you know, you have a Facebook feed for your projects. You have a Facebook feed for your entire list of things that you're doing.
Facebook feed. Is that on Facebook? Is that what you mean?
No, I apologize. It just acts like Facebook, right? So it's
okay.
So with the overview here, it's kind of the same thing. Like I can see everything that happened. So if I didn't log in for 2 days, I don't have to stay here and just, you know, constantly be watching this. I can just go here and see what happened in here, and I can tell whether or not anybody's done anything. Now, the websites is a small group of me and like a couple of other people, and right now I'm, like I said, I'm working on the MSA stuff and I'm trying to get QStock really pumped out. So I haven't been doing a lot with the websites. But I could look in here and say, you know, if I was in my MSA project, see if I'm the only one doing stuff, I got to make a phone call the next morning on that meeting. It's like, why aren't we updating my teamwork site? I want to know what you guys are up to. You need to check that stuff off as soon as you do it, so we know what the next steps are. So we know we can take this to the customer. We know that, you know, in the marketing world, I can make an article about it. I can post a blog post. I can do an email blast. I can set up a video. All of these things feed off of each other when you're in a team. And having this overview and this view and activity stream, you have a really clear picture of what's going on in your organization, so you can react to it in a timely manner.
Absolutely. Have you ever heard of Zopim?
Zopim, no.
Zopim. That is seriously awesome. It is something that you can use for your websites as well. And what it does is it tells you when somebody lands on your website, and it allows you to actually talk back and forth to them. Watch, check this out. If I,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we have that too. We use, no, it's QStar.
But it has this visibility thing. So I had it on while I was on the radio today, and I was talking about it, and all of a sudden I see bing, 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 bing. Like 4 people were on the website. It was pretty nuts, like watching people do things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see. We have OLARC, same thing. So my marketing or business development person, she is on this. It'll tell you where the person is, so she knows if I'm on versus somebody else.
Yes, it's that, and it'll tell you where they're at. And the reason that that's important is because, again, it's all about contact, right? Let's say we create a website. This is how we could use this, right? So we create a website, and we have it connected to we'll buy your house for cash, right? Just for an example. And so when anybody goes onto that site looking to sell, and let's say that they're on that page submitting information, like the page that we're going to create, we connect this to that. And as soon as somebody's on that page, it notifies us as they're entering information. We can actually pop that little box up and say, hey, thanks for being here. Is there anything that we can help you or answer for you? Because if you can connect with them right then, they know that you're real. That contact, look, we were talking about this before. When people decide to sell their house as a motivated seller, if they decide to go the way of selling to a wholesaler, 80% go with the first person they had contact with. Not the first person they called, not the first person who called them back, but the first person they actually spoke to on the phone. That's why this is so important.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I told you about my buddy Brad's app, but if you're doing this stuff, if you're starting out in real estate, it would be gold. And I'm sorry, he rebranded it, so I don't remember the name of it right now, but we can get it for you guys. But it basically, you know that contact form on your website?
Yes.
So if you have a question and you fill it out, what do you do next?
If you have you fill it out, and then you go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and you
late at night,
you're
answer. Searching for, like, you know, somebody to buy my house. I'm like, okay, well, I'll fill out this form, and then what do? You go to the next site, right? One. Because that person wasn't there. Because just like what you did, Zopim wasn't. You know, I wasn't online because I'm out and about. What his app does is it connects to that form, and it calls you. A robot reads you what they entered and says, press 1 if you'd like to be connected with this person right now. So this person is moving on to the next website to see if somebody will talk to them, and your phone's blowing up and it says press 1 if you want to be connected. Hell yes, I want to be connected. That's 30 grand. That's what just walked by my website that I paid, you know, 5 grand for them to get to my site. Call them right now. So it bridges that phone call. So before they get to that next Google result, you're already on the phone with them.
Absolutely. And for all of you guys that are interested in wholesaling for us, this is what we're talking about. You have to have quick access to people. That you've got to have that connection with them. And so maybe that's something that we end up working and building out. I really like the idea of being able to input your information. So maybe we create something that we start branding and drives people to there, and we give everybody, because now what about, let's say like Michael Wetterman, right? So Michael's up in New Jersey, and let's say that he gets a property or somebody calls him about a property. If he puts it up on the form, would we know that he did it? Or do you see what I'm saying? Like, how do we have accountability for who's putting their information in, I guess you could have that little selector thing, right?
That does make it a little bit more interesting for them to put it in. Yeah, we can work with that. I've done a couple of things, kind of gearing up for that. So this one is kind of interesting. I set this up for a commercial type client I had. So we were calling and we were basically saying, calling people who bought commercial properties and setting them up. So if I went into, I think it's CRM, so I was able to tie in and say, okay, what kind of information is important for buyers? Like, so if I call in, do me a favor, don't call these guys. These are my leads, but so I have all of their emails. I know what type of buyer they are, where they're located, things like that. And then once I have their information, I'll go back into it and find out their requests. So their requests are, this is the type of property I buy. So I know that when I'm calling other agents, I say, okay, look, I'm acting like the buyer because I'm going to put a property under contract. I want a multifamily. I know what the person's business is. I want it between 5 mil and 40 mil, either California or Texas, minimum of 100 units. I want B or C properties, condition, and I've done all of this work. I know all of this information about this, and this is the buyer. This links back to my CRM, and then I can rank it, and so I know what to ask for. And then as those come in, I can go into the properties that people bring to us, and I can get as much information as possible. I know what information to ask, so when I bring this back to the original buyer, I have the information that they need and want. So this was huge to get all this put together. And
so let me ask you this real quick.
So it made working it pretty good.
What was with Podio, right? You have a lot of information on there. We don't ask in any of our stuff, do we ask anywhere near that much information? So one question is, and I guess this kind of brings me back again to David Fagan, where if you go on to like Icon Bootcamp, I think is one of his sites, right? And can you go on there real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about? If you go on,
there
you go. You just needed the M on the end of that. Icon Bootcamp, or maybe it's Icon Builder. Nope, this is it. So scroll down. So this obviously we already did. But at the bottom, maybe it's not here. What he said was he asks a bunch of questions, but he shows you all the information he's going to give you, right? And he links that back into Infusionsoft. So how do we do that where we're going to need more information about them? So how do we get more information? Because you were the one that told me that, look, the less you ask for, the more likely you are to get them to fill it out, right?
That's a really good point. So I asked for a lot of information because I was doing the asking and I was doing the filling in. So I was totally fine with that. And I knew how to phrase it, and we made a conversation of it. So I talked to a buyer for like 15, 20 minutes. I try to keep it between 10, 15 minutes actually, so because I know their time was valuable. I was trying to get through it. But I phrased a lot of it and in a conversation. We talked about, so what was your last close of escrow? Like what, how fast was that? What kind of things came up? What things were you looking for and didn't get? Things like that. So I knew his responses and could narrow it down. Some of it is going to be very straightforward. What's your price range?
So go back to your Podio form. So then what you're saying is, let's say Michael's calling on a seller, or if he goes into the house, he can be talking to the person and filling that information out on his phone, and they can't see what's on his phone. I mean, he's just filling it out, right?
Exactly, and you can publish it on your website with only like 3 pieces of information, like what's your name and phone number. What's your name, phone number, and email address, so that he can get in touch with them, and he's not overwhelming them when they do that. Now, on my website, when somebody submits and wants to do a website, I have it come in and ask them a bunch of questions because they should know this stuff if they're coming to me. And if they don't, that's fine. But I need to get that information from them. But they'll save me and them a lot of time and money if they fill it out completely. So that's one way that I kind of filter out the people, because if somebody doesn't know a lot of this stuff, I'm happy to help them out, But a lot of people will just get intimidated and say, I just want a website up. It's like, well, I don't really work with, I'm just going to throw a website up and be done, because that's a waste of my time. I don't get a testimonial out of that. It's not going to do them any good.
Right. Because you don't care. So if you don't care, then why should I care?
Exactly. So it can be part of your business process. It could be a filtering tool, but for the most of us, we want something short and sweet so that we can get that information and make that connection, make that call, and call them quickly.
Now, you say add an app. What does that mean? Can we build apps? How does that work?
Yeah, buddy. You want to make one right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to create an app. I'm going to call this Pete, and the item name is a pita, and you can pick an icon. Let's see what's Pete. Skull and crossbones.
Oh man, seriously?
So we're gonna make it a badge. So this is the badge view over here. A table looks like Excel, a calendar, so that you can have it look different ways. I'm gonna go with badge. I think that would be cool.
Okay.
The description here, so Pete knows where this data goes.
Okay.
Do it. So this is cool. Enables RSVP event notification online meeting tools. That would be, yeah, let's do that, dude. Let's set go to meeting.
Well, this will be interesting because I don't know what we're doing right now, but I'm excited.
All right. I haven't done integrated it yet with go to meeting, so I'm kind of excited too. We'll see if we can do it. So meeting participants, meeting date, meeting title, meeting location, meeting agenda. So what are the things? Let's say we want to do a category. We have some options here, like I do want to complete, or I can and I can't. So, and let's actually make these different colors so we have different things. Progress indicator, so they can say how quick they are to being done. Map. Let's see. Relationship. I like tying the relationship in, so we're going to tie into our within the same one. So let's go to sellers. That's fine. Done.
What does that mean? You just tied it into sellers. What does that mean? That means that anybody on this will be a seller?
No. Watch this. Where? Oh, this one. So I'm going to rename this to sellers. So watch this. If I publish this, say I'm done.
I am so confused with what you just did.
So if we add a Peter.
Dude.
Meeting title. This is my meeting. And the date. See what date? So it's going to come up with a date picker and then say we're going to go from here to here. Well, that's like negative time, so let's go to there. So we have a long meeting to do. Participants, add or remove. Let's see if anybody else is in this one. So do that. Sellers. So check this out. So if we click on sellers, it's going to go in and ask us to add a seller. So it's linked to that seller app that's in another part of it. So right now there aren't any, so I can add a new seller. So as I add them here, they're going to go into that seller portion. So, and that could be an intern, it could be anything. So we can add that person in as we're doing it. And then meeting location. Let's say Target, Marietta, California. Let's see if Super Target. There we go. Boom. Just add it straight on in.
Okay.
Meeting agenda. I have an agenda.
So this could even be like for our wine and dines or when people are meeting for anything.
If you want to track something like that, and some businesses, I know I worked for a publicly traded company at one point, and well, at a few points, but everything that we did, we had to track. We had to have an agenda. We had to have, who did what afterwards, who was assigned to things. So this would totally help with that. If you have an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, you have to have quarterly meetings, and you have to have it documented. So what happens if you don't? You get in a lot of trouble. How do you document it? this is great. You can just have your quarterly meeting app and just be like, boom, here's my quarterly meeting. This is what we did. This is what we talked about. Even if it's just you, you've now proven and you have a track record of everything you did.
Wow.
So
okay. Now
we're an I can, and then let's say we're about 75% done. So we already have a map up there, so we don't need to do that. We can add a file, tag it. So let's call this Sky. I like Sky. I'm gonna call it Buffett too. I like
now how what are these tags for? Is that Google searchable or?
No, this is your searchable, but
Okay.
but you're right on the right track. So I'm gonna tag things that make sense to me. So now, since I have a Buffett tag, if I started typing Buffett, no, it's not saved yet. So if we save this one, item's been created. Awesome. So if we go back to Pete and we look at all of them, we can see we have a meeting coming up on the 19th, and it's 75% done. It's marked as I can, and we can change like how this is all viewed. If we wanted to, we can add a task. Say Pete, call Justin, and contact, say it's Justin, and I tagged it as Pete. We can share it. You can add stuff to it, things I'm working on, create the task. Boom. And then when you're done, just check it off. So you can do a bunch of stuff, and they came up with some cool dashboards over here. So one of the things I'm looking at doing is I'm trying to set one up for basically marketing spend. So I know, okay, here's my channels. I have Facebook, I have Google pay-per-click, I have my SEO, I have I don't know, let's say I went to conferences, different lead areas. So I can say, here's all my lead areas. Come back, and every time a deal comes in, we just double check and link it to that, and we attach to that deal a dollar amount. So I can track all the dollars that are coming in for each source, and then that'll tell me how much I can spend in that area. So if I'm doing a ton of LinkedIn advertising, but Facebook advertising is really converting, then I'm just wasting my time on the LinkedIn advertising. Even if it's converting, I might spend more time on Facebook because I have a finite amount of time, and if that budget will go further over there, maybe that's where I should be living for now. So I'm creating something like that that will allow me to really take into account some math, and over here have some dashboards.
Okay. Now going back to the one that you created, is that one that we can use?
This Pete one? I don't think you care about that one.
No,
it's cool.
No, that one you can delete. I'm talking about the other one with the sellers and the buyers.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we have a lot of this stuff, and so we can just
like, how would anybody be able to use that, or how would people, like, if somebody was like, oh, that's cool, I'm interested in learning, you know what I'm saying? How is this?
That's actually a really good point. So what we can do here is, let's say I made this CRM, this is all of mine. I can go up here and I can share this app to the app market. So if Pete, for Coast to Coast, we made one that did all of this stuff, I can share this to the app market so that when people went out here and said add app, they can download the Coast to Coast app that had all of it pre-configured. That's why I was using this one, is because they can go right here to real estate property, and it'll say Coast to Coast RIA, and they can get this pack with all the different things pre-configured. Some of these will have screenshots in them so they can see. Yeah, so here's a cool one. So I can go in here, I can take a look at all the different things. Oh, of course, this guy did it in little thumbnails.
So you can't see.
But so I can see, okay, so this is Maggie and her real estate brokerage. This is what her listings look like, and this is pretty sweet, right? This is pretty nice. So I can say, okay, this looks like something I could definitely use. So, but what else is in here? Okay, well, we just saw the listings portion and what the listings would look like. All right, let's look at the sales portion. So here's all the things that's tracking for sales. Make sure that works out with you. And then you know that when you download it, your business might be a little bit different, but now you know you can go in and you can just edit it,
tweak
add
it, right?
and remove it. Yeah, just tweak it a little bit, make it your own. That's the power of Podio, is it allows you to really make each of these pieces your own. You can link them together. You can see what each person's doing, comment back and forth, like different things that people are doing. And liking is a great way to say, hey, I saw you did this. You know, it doesn't have to be a I like it. It could be a visual indicator that, yes, I saw this. That's good. So if my marketing person published a blog post, I can like it and say, okay, I saw that you did that. Thanks. And, you know, I don't have to write a full comment that just says I recognize that you did that. So,
man, that's
each of those could be a little bit different for you. So yeah, we can definitely put something together and publish it so that everybody can download it.
So we'll call it Coast to Coast RIA. Is that what we'll call the app that people can get?
I think we should call it Steve.
Stop it. Coast to Coast RIA. Okay, so or just C2C REIA, right? C2C RIA.
Well, yeah, it could be C2C bird dogs.
There we go. Or C2C wholesalers.
C2C wholesalers. I like it.
C2C real estate. Coast to Coast real estate. Coast to Coast real estate app. That's what it should be. Coast to Coast real estate app. That's what we'll call it. Coast to Coast.
So yeah, you can do a ton of different things with that. I mean, there's project management where you do Scrum and like some really intense project management methodologies. There's sales and CRM, so you can actually have, instead of buying Salesforce or what is it, Highrise to track all this stuff, you can use something like this. It's very simple because generally we don't need a whole lot of stuff, and then you just attach Zapier to it, so that every time I add somebody in my CRM, it's going to go to my MailChimp account or my Aweber account because maybe somebody starting out doesn't have Infusionsoft, so they need something that that's a little bit more affordable. So we just add to MailChimp, and
I think this is amazing. Do you guys have any questions at all, Michael or Nishi? Do you guys have anything that you guys would like to ask? Okay, perfect. Nishi, let me unmute you.
Is that Nisi?
Nisi.
N-I-C-I?
No, N-I-S-H-I.
Oh, okay. I have a friend, Nisi, so I was just...
Are you there?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Nisi. Nishi, yeah. Can anybody hear me?
No. All right. Well, maybe not then. Michael, I'm gonna unmute you, man, because I know you'll answer me. What are you doing, man? Are you finding this interesting? Oh.
Everybody has us on mute.
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. Well, you know what it is.
The other thing too is when I was doing a lot of webinars or watching a lot of webinars, I'd watch it on my laptop, and I didn't have a mic on my laptop. So, well,
that could be. That could definitely be. Oh, yep, that's exactly what he just said. No mic on his laptop. And then Nishi said, loving the info, awesome productivity tools, perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys are having a good time. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up then for tonight. If you guys don't have any questions or anything, Justin, what do you want to do to kind of wrap it up? And then what are we going to talk about next time?
Cool. So to wrap it, I would say find one tool that works for you. Don't go to a dozen different websites. I did tonight just to show you some options because I really hate it when somebody says this is the exact right tool, because these are all different, very different tools. And there's others like Trello that I really like that's really great for other types of methodologies. But find one that works for you. The main idea is to get it out of your head into something so that you can go back to it. You know that every day you're going to check it. Pete had a really good point about goals. Make one goal for the day that I'm going to do this, and maybe have a couple tasks that help you out along the way, but really focus on those and make a commitment to get those knocked out, because that's where I think we all fail a lot of the time is we'll have tasks and we'll keep adding to that task list, and it gets to the point where we can't complete it. So if there's something, like, you'll get to a point and you'll know I can do 4 tasks today, and that's all I can commit to. Everything after that, just don't even bother, and just know where that limit is so that you can just provide better service to your customers. You can do better for yourself. You'll feel better. Your health will be better because you'll know that you can get these things done. When you wake up in the morning, you don't go, oh my gosh, I have so much to do today. you know that you have a few things to get done and that you can rock it out. And when you get done with the day, you're going to feel so much better because you knocked out everything on your task list. And there's been times where I have only 3 or 4, and pardon me, the end of the day comes and I didn't get all of them done, and maybe I have to spend some more time to do a couple, that last little bit. But I tell you, I felt great knowing that it got off my plate. So when I go to bed, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about all that other stuff. My mind is clear. I feel good about myself. I feel good about my day. And that you can get into the gratitude journal and things like that and be thankful for it, and just be really appreciative when you get that feeling of accomplishment. So don't take on too much. Make sure it goes into one system and that you work that system every day.
Man, that is awesome. Thank you so much, Justin, for all of your time today. Michael, thank you. He said good advice, Justin. So I just wanted to thank you, Justin. We will see you next time. What are we going to cover next time?
So I think we really need to go back and do that, how to build, how to do the proper post, the POP. Make sure that we get everybody in there to make sure, get it recorded, because that's the key piece. Like,
okay,
it's so easy to do that, and it's so easy to outsource. It's so cheap to have somebody do it, and those results, if you do it right, can be huge to your website. So, and once you get that feeling of it, that can go into anything and everything else you do for a website. So let's talk about doing that again next time, and like really build out that POP.
You got it. So we're going to do that next time, and I believe that we will hopefully have something available as well for that, the video training that Justin is putting together as well, that you guys can do on your own too. And we'll be building onto that, and we'll have more to announce about that when we do that. So guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I definitely appreciate it. I know Justin appreciates it.
I definitely appreciate it. I've been in the closet over here with a knife the whole night waiting for him to come out, and he won't do it. So, whatever. So we've got everybody's really interested apparently in us ending now. Even the dude with the mask on.
Dinner time.
Dinner time. Wait, hold on. Dinner! So that's my cowbell. I'm sticking to it. Guys, have a great night. Justin, thank you so much. And guys, without you, there is no us, because you put the Y in our success. Have a great day and go make something happen.